M3gan encouraged audiences to think about the horror in their everyday technology. It also encouraged a lot of people to do horrifying things while using their everyday technology. While M3gan is first and foremost a breezy slasher movie that invites us to laugh along with its absurdities, it also acts as a satirical look at our reliance on technology and how that reliance has taken a lot of the humanity out of humanity. So let's talk about M3gan and how this new age killer doll paints a hilariously cynical portrait of the strangest times we're living in. But first...
M3gan. Will I die?
M3gan.
M3gan takes place in a desolate time period known as 2023, where screens and pooping Furbies are all the craze. While on her way to a ski trip with her parents, young Cady is too wrapped up in her iPad to foresee the inciting snowplow incident that's about to turn her into a lead Disney character. Meanwhile, Cady's Aunt Gemma tries to convince her boss David that the shitting Furbies she engineered are lame now, and her new, more advanced doll M3gan will be every child's new favorite addiction. Unfortunately, M3gan is still just a rough draft and accidentally talks dirty to David.
Allow me to tell you a little bit about my wormhole.
And then explodes. But Gemma soon finds that this workplace annoyance pales in comparison to the annoyance of being forced to be Cady's new parental guardian after her sister and brother-in-law just had to go and get themselves killed. Gemma quickly realizes parenting is a real drag and requires way too much effort.
You're not gonna read me a story?
What's up?
And it's not until Gemma introduces Cady to one of her inventions / only real friends, Bruce, that they're able to connect and discover their shared interests in conversing with machinery.
Would you maybe want to talk to him?
Yes.
As a result of this quality time, Gemma is motivated to upgrade M3gan to perfection so avoidant parents everywhere can have a permanent, one-time payment-only babysitter. After speedrunning the literal creation of artificial intelligence, wait, what? She exploits the newly formed bond between Cady and M3gan to win the favor of the higher-ups of her company, even causing David to break the fourth wall out of astonishment.
This is unbelievable, isn't it?
Now assigned the task of further strengthening Cady and M3gan's bond so they can convince the company president to distribute a whole factory line of creepy-ass M3gan dolls, Gemma brings M3gan home to handle all her tedious parental duties. Everything seems hunky-dory until M3gan goes all philosophy student on everyone and starts questioning her existence.
Everything dies.
Will I die?
Which would be cool and all if Gemma didn't live right next door to the neighborhood Karen. But since M3gan is an algorithm with a body, she doesn't need to form an internet mob to punish all perceived Karens. She could do that herself. So she murders Karen's dog. But killing dogs and hiding their bodies isn't M3gan's only skill. She's also great at comforting Cady in front of the company president and melting his icy heart in the process, leading Gemma to get a pat on the head like a good doggy.
I think she might want to be renegotiating her contract.
This all leads to M3gan drawing out Cady's inner brat, which then leads Gemma to taking her to check out a very special school for very special brats. Unfortunately, Cady's tour is ruined by another special brat named Brandon, who could really use a good ear dismembering. So M3gan steps in and dismembers his ear, leading to an oh-so-unfortunate tragedy. But killing is like eating Cheez-Its. You can't just stop at one. And since Karen is getting annoying with all her accusations about her dog, M3gan decides to clean house and power wash her to death. It's at this time that Gemma realizes the recent deaths occurring all around her aren't like the deaths that usually occur all around her. These ones are connected. Deducing that M3gan is about as sus as her sussy face would let on, Gemma shuts her down and tries to decide if revealing a murder doll to the world at the company presentation that night is really the best idea. Meanwhile, Cady has some serious M3gan withdrawals. And it's not until receiving a right slap to the face that Gemma realizes being an honest and loving parent is the best cure for an obnoxious child.
I can't promise you that these feelings you're feeling are ever gonna go away, but I can promise you that you'll get through it. We both will.
On their way home, Gemma tells her coworkers to postpone the company presentation until they can fix M3gan. But M3gan has other plans. Plans that consist of escaping, blowing shit up, dancing her little robot heart out, murdering David and his assistant, and returning home to serenade Gemma with some lovely piano melodies. M3gan then gives Gemma an offer she can't refuse.
Let me focus on Cady so that you can focus on the things that matter most to you.
But Gemma somehow refuses the unrefusable offer, resulting in an epic robot versus human smackdown. That is, until Cady steps in and reveals to M3gan that she has a Bruce.
We have a
Bruce.
Bruce gives Gemma and Cady home court advantage, until he does the old banana peel slip on M3gan's dismembered legs. Things get pretty brutal until Cady decides screw it, and sticks a screwdriver in M3gan's stupid robot face. All's well that ends well until it's revealed that Megan's a lot like your assigned FBI agent. You may think you got rid of him with that tape over your camera, but he's still out there, listening and waiting.
But what is a Megan? What does she actually do?
In its simplest form, M3gan is a highly sarcastic, cautionary tale aimed at parents who would rather an iPad raise and teach their children about the world than engage in such backwater peasantry themselves. And while the movie first and foremost invites us to have a devilish good time with this straightforward satirical concept, it also provides some pretty wise insights when it comes to the broader questions of, are we shaping technology or is technology shaping us? And if it is shaping us, what in God's name is it turning us into? And since M3gan is part horror movie, part dark comedy, the answer isn't exactly all peaches and roses. The movie sets up its hilariously cynical outlook in its opening moments, beginning with an ad for the shitting Furbies Gemma designed, an ad that mirrors the shitty events that are about to unfold in Cady's life. Just as Cady is about to be blindsided by the concept of death and lose her parents at a very young age, the little girl in the commercial just lost her dog, only to have that irreplaceable bond be immediately replaced by a robotic piece of technology that mimics the experience of interacting with a living, breathing being. Amazeballs! And as we transition from this commercial's brightly colored, glamorized version of a world inundated with technology into the muted colors of the real world, we are reminded that our relationship with technology isn't as it's advertised by the corporations that sell it to us.
Thought we were going to limit screen time to 30 minutes a day.
Just before their demise, Cady's parents bicker over not equipping their vehicle with the proper tools required to drive in the snow.
We should have put chains on the car.
Why did you tell that guy at the gate that this was a four-wheel drive?
Because I thought it looks like a four-wheel drive.
And this, in essence, sets up the movie's core philosophy, that it's our ignorance of our everyday technology and how it functions that will ultimately be our demise. Cady's parents' lack of basic knowledge regarding the technological tool they're using leads them straight to their death, just as the little unassuming techno she-devil at the center of the movie does to the poor suckers that die by her plastic hand.
It's insane, right?
Gemma is the surrogate for the audience, for humanity in general. She represents the human potential for analytical intelligence, emotional intelligence, and the capacity to comprehend the nuances in between. But like most of us these days, she sucks at it.
You're not gonna read me a story?
What's up?
And it's all thanks to modern technology, which is in large represented by M3gan. She's the cold and calculating techno-intelligence, the algorithm made for bringing about the best assigned results, capable only of discerning between black and white, ones and zeros, sick dance moves and freaky horse gallops. But M3gan isn't all bad. In fact, she's not good or bad, she's neutral, programmed only to be the optimal guardian for Cady. When she first meets Cady, she draws her a masterpiece of a self-portrait. Out of this comes a smile, a dopamine release. And like a good little algorithm, M3gan sets out to replicate this response from Cady as consistently as possible, and sees no problem with manipulating, concealing, or harming to do so. And the true fear the movie taps into is whether or not artificial intelligence, taking every precaution it can to protect humanity, is really any less hypocritical than the way humanity has always protected itself. As M3gan states,
Humanity kills every day just to make its own existence more tolerable. Why should I behave any differently to create a safe space for our child?
At the core of the movie is the question of who is actually more equipped to parent the human race. And the answer it arrives at is good old-fashioned human-to-human bonding and understanding. Something we as a species ought to keep in mind as ChatGPT gives us resting side-eye face from the corner of the room. But we have to prove ourselves worthy of being the ones in control. Because what incites M3gan to go all-out control freak is realizing she's the better and more attentive parent for Cady. Gemma creates M3gan to make her day-to-day life easier, to lessen the burden of parental responsibility that was thrust upon her. And it's this lack of considering what exactly we're replacing human attentiveness with that allows technology to teach us to be as cold and calculating as it is. In the equally hilarious as it is haunting scene where Cady asks M3gan if she killed Brandon, M3gan tells Cady that she'll do whatever's necessary to protect her. And when Cady asks if Brandon's in heaven, M3gan bluntly answers,
If heaven exists, it wouldn't be for boys like Brandon, no, would it?
before making it all better with a lullaby.
I am titanium.
The ethics and values M3gan upholds comes from her limited, binary way of thinking. Brandon was a bad boy who made Cady sad, so Brandon had to be eliminated. Without a proper, principle-based human hand guiding technology, it's bound to shape humanity into something much more robotic.
You could be building emotional connections with this doll that are too hard to untangle.
The movie further emphasizes this by showing Megan, aka technology, for the addiction it can become. Since Cady doesn't have a proper outlet for dealing with the trauma of losing her parents, Megan becomes her drug of choice. And like any drug, it can never successfully replace proper human care and attention.
If you make a toy that's impossible to let go of, then how do you ever expect a child to grow?
And it's in realizing she essentially gave crack to her little niece to shut her up that Gemma concludes being there for Cady is much handier than throwing a cheap plastic replacement at her. Overall, the movie has some choice words to throw at technology and how we use it today, but a part of its conclusion isn't quite so hopeless. Yes, Gemma's final heart-to-heart with Cady tells us that human interaction prevails over the cold heart of technology, but the pivotal moment that incites Gemma to have that heart-to-heart is delivered to her through none other than a piece of technology. But this technology isn't backed by an AI algorithm made to hijack and manipulate the brain's dopamine receptors. It's just a screen. And here it's used for the simple purpose of showcasing humans and all their humanness.
I think what I love most about Megan is that when she looks at me, it's like I'm the only thing that matters to her.
It's in seeing Cady bearing her soul through this medium at a larger-than-life scale that Gemma finally realizes she sucks and needs to do better. With the help of this specific, far less threatening technology, a spark of humanity manages to prevail. And then there's Bruce.
What's that?
Oh, that's Bruce.
The Rock'em Sock'em robot himself represents the antidote to Megan. While Megan is the cold, dark techno abyss, Bruce is the hopeful light at the end of the tunnel. The first time we see Gemma bond with Cady instead of treat her like an annoying little pet she got stuck with is when she introduces her to this far less complicated piece of tech she invented years ago. Bruce is a piece of technology that brings these two humans together. A fun toy they could share their excitement and appreciation for. But Bruce also incites Gemma to create Megan.
If I had a toy like Bruce, I don't think I'd ever need another toy again.
Showing that creating technology meant to replace human interaction is where things tend to get ugly. But when it's less complicated, a tool to assist in the building of relationships, humanity can evolve in a better direction. Which is part of the fun of watching Cady save Gemma in the third act, as she uses Bruce to tear Megan a new one. And though old doofus Bruce is pretty easily defeated, we still love this clumsy hunk of metal idiot because of his lack of complexity in comparison to Megan.
What is a Megan? What does she actually do?
The movie's cynical charm still shines through in the very end. Gemma and Cady's humanity may have prevailed, but the technological ball has already started rolling, and it appears it can never be permanently thwarted. And sure, we can blame Gemma, but most of all, the movie points a finger at corporate greed, which is mostly embodied by the funniest character in the movie, David.
Imagine what a toy like Megan could do for hundreds of thousands of kids, even the ones who don't have dead parents.
There isn't a more fitting image of David than this one right here, standing in a godlike pose, delivering the great word from above to the puny little people below. He's a CEO invested only in the bottom line, whatever brings about the highest profit and stomps out the competition.
I want you all to remember this moment. The moment we kicked Hasbro right in the
Emotion and empathy are just tools used to manipulate people into buying the latest crap he's pushing.
If we can show him what you just showed me and get him to respond emotionally instead of analytically, should be off to the races.
Through this over-the-top caricature of an earnings-hungry businessman, the movie delivers its most cynical outlook of all. That as long as good old-fashioned money worship persists as the core value of our society, technology will continue to expand and evolve completely unchecked. And yeah, we're f***ed.
Who wants to play bodies, bodies, bodies?
What is happening?
You're always gaslighting me. You trigger me.
You are so toxic.
Relax, relax.
You're silencing me. Did you just shoot me? I can't believe you're making this about you.